Overthinking is silent, but it's slowly destroying your life. And the worst part? You think it's helping you. You think you're being careful. You think you're being smart. You think you're preparing for the future. But in reality, you're stuck. You're not moving forward. You're not living. You're trapped inside your own mind. Think about this for a second. How many times have you sat in one place, doing absolutely nothing, but feeling completely exhausted? Not because your body worked hard, but because your mind did. You replay conversations. You imagine future problems. You question your decisions again and again. And at the end of the day, nothing changes except one thing. You feel more tired, more confused, and more stuck than before. That's the silent damage of overthinking. It doesn't look dangerous from the outside, but inside, it slowly drains your energy, your confidence, and your ability to act. Now look at the world you're living in. It's loud. It's fast. It's overwhelming. The moment you wake up, your brain is attacked. Notifications, messages, news, social media, endless scrolling. Your mind never gets a break. You jump from one piece of information to another without even realizing it. 1 second you're watching a video, the next second you're comparing your life to someone else's. Then suddenly you start thinking, am I behind? Am I doing enough? What if I fail? And just like that, your brain is no longer in control. It's reacting. It's overloaded. It's drowning in noise. And here's where the real problem begins. Most people think more thinking equals better results. But that's not true. Thinking is useful when it leads to action. But overthinking does the opposite. It keeps you in the same place. It creates confusion instead of clarity. It creates fear instead of direction. You don't make decisions, you delay them. You don't take action, you wait. You don't move forward, you freeze. That's why overthinking is not intelligence. It's paralysis. It's your brain pressing the brake while your life is trying to move forward. You feel it, don't you? That strange combination of being tired but unproductive. Busy in your head, but empty in your actions. You want to start something, learning English, building a habit, changing your life, but you keep thinking instead of doing. You plan. You imagine. You prepare. But you never begin. And slowly, opportunities start to disappear. Not because you're not capable, but because you're stuck in your thoughts. That message you wanted to send, you overthought it. That opportunity you wanted to take, you hesitated. That moment you could have changed something, you stayed silent. Overthinking doesn't just waste time. It steals your life in small, quiet pieces. So here is the truth that most people never realize. Overthinking is not control. It's the illusion of control. Your mind tells you, if I just think a little more, I'll find the perfect answer. But life doesn't work like that. There is no perfect moment. There is no perfect decision. There is only action or inaction, movement or delay, growth or stagnation. Overthinking makes you feel like you're in control, but in reality, it's controlling you. And this is where everything begins to change. Because this video is not here to give you simple tips that you forget tomorrow. This is not motivation that disappears after 10 minutes. This is a mental reset. A system that helps you break free from the trap you didn't even know you were in. And at the same time, as you listen, as you understand, as you follow each idea, you're not only training your mind, you're also improving your English, your clarity, and your confidence. So don't just hear these words. Stay with them. Because once you truly understand what overthinking is doing to you, you will never look at your thoughts the same way again. Now that you see how overthinking affects your life, we need to go deeper. Because the real problem is not just that you think too much. The real problem is this: you believe everything you think. And that is where the trap begins. Your brain is not designed to make you happy. It is designed to keep you safe. And sometimes those two things are very different. Your brain works in survival mode. It looks for danger, even when there is none. It prepares for problems, even before they happen. It imagines the worst, not because it is true, but because it thinks it is protecting you. So when you think, what if I fail? Or what if they judge me? Or what if this goes wrong? Your brain is not telling you the truth. It is telling you a possibility. But your mind treats it like reality. That is how fear-based thinking works. It feels real, even when it's not. Let me give you a powerful story. There was a famous escape artist named Houdini. He was known for escaping from any locked place. Chains, boxes, even prison cells. One day, he was challenged to escape from a small jail cell. They closed the door, and he started working on the lock. He focused, he tried different techniques, he used all his skills. Minutes passed. Then more time passed. He became frustrated. Nothing worked. Finally, after a long struggle, he pushed the door, and it opened easily. The door was never locked. Think about that. He used all his energy, trying to escape something that wasn't even real. The only thing that trapped him was his belief that the door was locked. That's exactly what overthinking does to you. You are trying to solve problems that don't exist yet. You are trying to escape fears that are not real. You are fighting imaginary situations in your head. And while you're doing that, your real life is standing still. This is why you must understand one simple but powerful idea. Not all thoughts are true. Just because you think something doesn't mean it's real. Just because you feel something doesn't mean it's correct. Thoughts are just mental events. They come and go. Some are useful. Many are not. But if you treat every thought as truth, you lose control. So the next time your mind says, "You're not ready," or "This will fail," or "People will judge you," pause and ask yourself, is this a fact or just a thought? Because facts are based on reality. Thoughts are often based on fear. Now here is where you take your power back. You must learn to catch the thought early. Overthinking does not start big. It starts small. One simple thought. What if this goes wrong? Then another. Maybe I'm not good enough. Then another. I should wait. And before you know it, you are deep inside a mental storm. But here's the key. The earlier you catch it, the easier it is to stop. The first thought is your control point. If you let it grow, it becomes a chain. If you catch it early, you can break it. So train yourself to notice the first negative thought. Not the 10th. Not the 100th. The first. And when you catch it, don't fight it emotionally. Bring it into logic. One of the most powerful ways to do this is very simple. Say it out loud. When a thought stays in your head, it feels bigger, heavier, more powerful. But when you say it out loud, something changes. It becomes clearer. It becomes weaker. It becomes something you can analyze. For example, instead of silently thinking, "I'm going to fail," say it out loud. "I think I'm going to fail." Now listen to it. Does it sound like a fact? Or does it sound like fear? This small shift moves you from emotional thinking to logical thinking. And logic is where your control lives. Because once you see your thoughts clearly, you stop being controlled by them. You don't react immediately. You choose. And this leads us to one of the most important insights you need to remember. You are not trapped by reality. You are trapped by your interpretation. The situation is not always the problem. Your thoughts about the situation are. Change the way you see it, and you change the way you feel. Change the way you feel, and you change the way you act. And that is how you begin to break free from overthinking. Not by stopping your thoughts completely, but by understanding that they don't control you anymore. Now that you understand your thoughts are not always true, the next step is even more important. You need to learn how to stop the loop. Because overthinking is not just thinking, it's a cycle. A repeating pattern that pulls you deeper and deeper until you feel stuck, tired, and unable to act. And almost every overthinking loop starts with two simple words. What if? What if I fail? What if they judge me? What if I make the wrong decision? What if this goes wrong? At first, it feels like you're being careful. But in reality, you are creating problems that don't exist yet. You are building a fake future inside your mind and reacting to it as if it's real. This is the trap of future anxiety. You are not dealing with reality. You are dealing with imagination. And the more you stay in that space, the stronger it becomes. Your body reacts. Your heart beats faster. Your energy drops. You feel stress, even though nothing has actually happened. So the first thing you must do is recognize this clearly. What if is not reality. It is a story. And once you see it as a story, you can step out of it. Now, let's talk about how to break that loop in a practical way. The first tool is simple, but very powerful. Write it out. When your thoughts stay inside your head, they feel endless. They repeat. They grow. They become heavier. But when you take them out of your mind and put them on paper, something changes. Your brain slows down. Your thoughts become visible. You can actually see what you are thinking. So the next time you feel overwhelmed, take a pen and write everything down. Don't organize it. Don't filter it. Just write. What am I worried about? What am I afraid of? What is repeating in my mind? This is mental detox. You are not solving the problem yet. You are clearing the space. And once your thoughts are on paper, you will notice something interesting. Many of them don't even make sense anymore. Some are exaggerated. Some are unrealistic. Some are not even important. That's the power of taking your thoughts out of your head. Now the second tool, move your body. Because here's something most people don't realize. Overthinking is not just mental. It is physical. When you sit still for too long, your mind becomes louder. Your thoughts become stronger. Your energy gets stuck. But movement changes everything. When you walk, your breathing changes. When you move, your brain shifts focus. When your body is active, your thoughts lose intensity. That's why even a short walk can calm your mind. You don't need a complicated solution. Just stand up. Walk for 10 minutes. Stretch. Change your environment. Because motion interrupts emotion. And once your emotional intensity drops, your thinking becomes clearer. Now here is the most important shift of all. Replace thinking with doing. Overthinking survives in stillness. It grows when you do nothing. So instead of trying to stop your thoughts completely, give your mind something real to focus on. Take one small action. Not a perfect action. Not a big action. Just one. If you're overthinking about learning English, open one page and read. If you're overthinking about sending a message, write one sentence. If you're overthinking about starting something, take the first step. Action breaks the loop. Because when you act, your brain moves from imagination to reality. And reality is always clearer than your thoughts. Now, to make this even more powerful, you need one more rule. Limit your decision time. Many people overthink because they give themselves too much time. They say, I'll think about it. I'll decide later. I need more time. But more time does not create better decisions. It creates more doubt. So use something simple, the 10-minute rule. Give yourself 10 minutes to think. That's it. After 10 minutes, make a decision. Then act. Because most decisions don't need hours or days. They need clarity and movement. And even if the decision is not perfect, it's still better than staying stuck. Progress comes from movement, not perfection. So when you put all of this together, you start to see a pattern. Overthinking pulls you into your head. These tools bring you back to reality. Write it out. Move your body. Take one action. Limit your thinking time. And step by step, you break the loop. Because at the end of the day, there is one truth you need to remember. Thinking longer doesn't solve problems, acting does. And once you understand that, overthinking begins to lose its power. At this point, you've learned how to see your thoughts clearly and how to break the loop. But there is one deeper reason why overthinking keeps coming back. It's because you are trying to control things that were never yours to control. And this is where anxiety is born. You worry about outcomes. You worry about what people think. You worry about the future, the results, the reactions. You try to predict everything, manage everything, fix everything in your head. But the more you try to control everything, the more overwhelmed you become. So here is a simple but powerful shift you need to make. There are two types of things in your life. Things you can control, and things you cannot. You can control your actions. You can control your effort. You can control how you respond. But you cannot control other people. You cannot control their opinions. You cannot control every outcome. And yet, most people spend their energy on the second group. They overthink what others might say. They replay conversations. They imagine judgments that haven't even happened. This is a trap. Because no matter how much you think, you will never fully control how others see you. Not everyone will like you. Not everyone will understand you. Not everyone will agree with you. And that's not a problem. That's reality. The moment you accept this, something inside you becomes lighter. You stop trying to manage every opinion. You stop overanalyzing every interaction. You stop chasing approval. And when you stop doing that, your mind becomes quiet. Now let's talk about another hidden cause of overthinking: perfectionism. Many people don't realize this, but perfectionism is not about high standards. It's about fear. Fear of making mistakes. Fear of being judged. Fear of not being good enough. So what do? You delay. You wait. You think more. You try to make everything perfect before you act. But here's the truth: perfect does not exist. And waiting for perfect is the fastest way to stay stuck. Done is always better than perfect. Because when you finish something, you learn. When you act, you improve. When you move, you grow. But when you wait, you stay in your head. So instead of asking, "Is this perfect?" ask a better question. Is this good enough to move forward? That question creates progress. Now let's go even deeper. One of the biggest reasons you overthink is because you confuse feelings with facts. You feel like you're not ready. You feel like you're going to fail. You feel like people are judging you. But feelings are not evidence. Just because you feel something doesn't make it true. So train yourself to ask, what is the actual fact here? Not what you imagine. Not what you fear. But what is real? For example, you feel like you're bad at English. That's a feeling. The fact might be, you are still learning. You feel like people are judging you. That's a feeling. The fact might be, no one has said anything. This shift from emotion to evidence gives you clarity. And clarity reduces anxiety. Finally, there is one more thing you need to understand, and many people avoid it. You don't have to do everything alone. Sometimes, overthinking becomes stronger because everything stays inside your head. You don't share it. You don't express it. You try to handle it by yourself. But asking for help is not weakness. Talking to someone, getting another perspective, hearing a different view. These things can break the pattern instantly. Because what feels huge inside your mind often becomes smaller when you say it out loud. So don't isolate yourself inside your thoughts. You don't need to carry everything alone. And when you bring all of this together, you begin to experience something new. Not control over everything, but control over yourself. And that is where real freedom comes from. Because the truth is simple. Peace comes when you stop controlling everything. Not when life becomes perfect. Not when problems disappear. But when you finally understand what is yours to carry, and what you need to let go. Now we come to the most important realization of all, and it may sound simple, but it can change everything if you truly understand it. You are not your thoughts. Your thoughts are something you experience, not something you are. They come, they go, they change, they repeat, but they do not define you unless you let them. Most people live their entire lives believing every thought in their head, reacting to every fear, every doubt, every imagined problem. And slowly they become controlled by something that was never meant to control them. But the moment you step back and see your thoughts for what they are, just mental noise, just temporary signals, you create space, and in that space you find freedom. You stop reacting automatically, you stop believing everything you think, and you start choosing how to respond. And this is where the real shift happens, because now you are standing between two paths. One path is overthinking, the familiar one. The path where you stay inside your head, analyzing, doubting, imagining, repeating the same loops again and again. It feels safe, but it keeps you stuck. The other path is reality. The path where you act, where you try, where you move forward even when things are not perfect, even when you are not completely sure. One path keeps you busy in your mind. The other path builds your life. And every single day, in small moments, you are choosing between these two. Not once, not twice, but again and again. So let me say this clearly, because you need to hear it. You are not broken, you are overwhelmed. Your mind is not your enemy. It's just overloaded. Too much input, too many thoughts, too many possibilities, too much pressure to be perfect, to be right, to be ready. But once you learn how to step out of that noise, once you learn how to act instead of overanalyze, everything starts to change. Not instantly, not magically, but gradually, in a real and lasting way. You begin to feel lighter. You begin to move faster. You begin to trust yourself again. And that is something overthinking takes away from you, the trust in your own ability to handle life. So from this moment, don't try to control every thought. Don't try to eliminate every doubt. That's not the goal. The goal is simple. Don't let your thoughts stop your actions. Let them be there, but keep moving. Let them exist, but don't follow them blindly. Because your life is not happening inside your head. It is happening outside, in your actions, in your decisions, in the moments you choose to move instead of freeze. And if you want to go further on this journey, if you want to stop overthinking, improve your English, and build a stronger, clearer, more focused mind at the same time, then stay connected with this path. Like this video, if it helped you see your thoughts differently, comment, "I choose peace." To make a small commitment to yourself, and subscribe to Invention English, so you can keep learning, step by step, not just a new language, but a new way of thinking and living. Because this is not just about English. This is about building a mind that works for you, not against you. And remember this, because it might be the most important sentence in this entire video. Your thoughts are loud, but your life is waiting outside them.